So a few weeks ago, I shot Victoria's Festival and was part of the official photography team. It was an incredible 3 days, filled with long hours and not a lot of sleep between the days, but I wouldn't have changed a thing. It was generally incredible and probably one of the best professional experiences that I've had so far. I just wanted to make this video to talk about my experience of shooting a 3-day festival and hopefully provide value for some of you out there who are looking to get into shooting some festivals. This was my second time shooting Victoria's Festival. I did it last year as well, and I was really hoping the guys would bring me back in for this year, and they did. This year I definitely took more risks than I did last year, I think because I was more comfortable with shooting festivals and I kind of knew what the base of it was, and so I come into this year feeling a lot more confident and had an idea of some of the shots I wanted to get, whereas before I was going in completely blind. I was definitely braver with some of my decisions on going on stage and getting closer to the artists. One instant of that is when James were performing, and you can say this was either luck or creative instinct, but I was at the back of the pit shooting with the 85, getting almost an establishing shot of the crowd with the stage in the background, and I changed my 24mm by pure luck with me just thinking, oh, I want to get some wide shots of the stage now, and literally not even 5 seconds after I put that 24mm lens on, James, the lead singer of James, come out into the pit and he come running down straight towards me. And at this point, I'm the only photographer that's in there, and there's probably like 15 to 20 other photographers. And he just runs straight past them and he jumps up into the crowd. And I'm the only photographer here that is getting this shot of James looking directly at me with Victorious in the background, and the crowd obviously just grabbing hold of him. And if I had still had my 85mm lens on, I wouldn't have been able to get this shot because it'd have been too close. Like literally, I'm probably the distance I am away from my camera now. Like he was literally right in front of me. And if I had my 85mm on, all I would see is his shoulder. So again, luck or creative instinct, I don't know, but it enabled me to get this shot. And that is probably one of my favorite shots I took of the entire weekend. And yeah, I'm a massive fan of it. Even when James went back to the stage, I literally just chased after him and I managed to get the shot of him sat on stage. And I'm pretty close to him at this point because it's 24, so it's a pretty wide lens. And I just remember another fellow photographer, I don't know where he's from, or another magazine or newspaper or something. And I just remember him like trying to nudge me out of the way. And it's just like, it's a fair game at the end of the day. I suppose first come, first serve. He was literally there for about 5 seconds. So I couldn't take the shot and move out of the way as the etiquette of the pit it normally is. You're constantly adapting to different situations at a festival. That there's loads of things that change, especially with artists. Some don't want you in the pit for that long. Again, an interesting thing I think a lot of people don't know about shooting a festival is you're only allowed in there for the first 3 songs, and this is mainly due to you'd go in for the first 3 songs, so about 10 minutes, and you'd get the shots you need, and then you'd go back into the media tent, load it up onto your laptop, and literally pick 5 hero shots out to then send to the social media team. And I think this was a learning point for me, and I'm super grateful for 2 of the experienced team members that pulled me aside and said, look, all the stuff you're creating is amazing, you're doing such a good job, but you're sending too many across. So my issue was that I was sending like 10 to 15 across to the social media team, and that isn't what you're meant to do at all, because if you think the social media team are limited on time themselves and they can't sit there and decide what one they want to pick out of the 10-15 hero shots, especially when I'm the photographer and I know what one looks best, so it is really down to me to show them which one, okay, you should post this one. And that's completely natural in this instant because you've just taken, you're full of adrenaline, you just come out of the pit shooting with the artist, you get back into the media tent and you see all your picture load up and you think the lighting's cool or their posing's cool, and it's hard. You take about 400, maybe 300 to 400 per artist if you're only there for 10 minutes, and you've got to sieve through them in about a 10-15 minute window, and you can't even really look at it in detail. You're just using your eye and your experience to know what looks good. And yeah, you literally just pick them out and then edit them really quickly and then send them off to the social media team. And I'm super grateful they said that to me because, again, like it's a constant learning experience. It's only my second festival, so I now know that for what it will stay in my mind for future festivals as well. And it's just something to bear in mind, like if you do end up shooting festivals, is you have to be really selective and almost suppress your creative eye, because the pictures that the social media team want anyway are ones where it's best lit, where you can see the artist. My style's very like, as some of you have probably already seen, very cinematic. I like to play with lighting. I like that like mystery element to my photos, and that doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with selling a festival, especially for their social media. It has to be the best lit, shows them in the best light, not necessarily the most stylistic picture. You can you save them for when you get back and you can chuck them on your desktop and actually fully go through them all and edit them exactly how you want to. Being on stage is probably one of the best experiences I've ever had professionally. It's an indescribable feeling being up there with artists that you've listen to on a regular basis. So for me, I was on stage with Declan McKenna, the Wombats, and Bastille. They're the three standout. There was a couple of others as well, but those are the three standout ones for me. It was just awesome. Like you're hearing your favourite song live. For me, it was Greek Tragedy by the Wombats, and I'm on stage with them, taking pictures of them with thousands of people in front of me. And like, it's such a surreal experience because in your head, you think they're all staring at you because in your head, you're like, oh, you're up there with them. But in reality, they don't know you're there. Like, you're wearing all black, you're blending in so well. And you can't really take in what's going on because you're so focused on taking the picture and doing your job essentially, and finding out what lens to use in the right situations, guessing what they're going to do. Are they going to come over to your side of the stage? When to walk behind. And again, you're trying to do this all so discreetly and acting like you're not there and not to be noticed. And obviously there's wires everywhere, so you're tiptoeing over wires, make sure nothing's going to unplug. If any of you do get a chance to shoot a festival and go on stage, then make the most of it. And obviously, as you all know, I take Polaroids every project I do. I managed to take this one on stage. Last year I did one in the pit, but this one I thought I'd do it on stage with Doddy, and yeah, I just love it. It's so good, and it's such a memory that will last with me forever. Another awesome thing that happened over the weekend, I think it was on a Sunday, that I found out that I got published in the BBC, which is nuts. It was actually as an article about the Victorious. And yeah, they used one of my pictures along with a couple of others from the team. It was my first time being published, and that's such a weird feeling, like opening up the article and seeing the picture that I took. Such an awesome feeling seeing one of my pictures actually being published on a website. So that was a bonus of the weekend, I suppose. Part of your job when you're shooting a festival as well isn't all about being on stage with the artist or being in the pit shooting them. A lot of it is lifestyle. So it's about capturing moments from in and around the festival that the festival can use for the next year for promotional content. This could include going to bars and shooting people having a good time, going up to friends or family groups and asking if they want a picture, if they're wearing like a wacky costume or anything. Getting sons and daughters on dad's shoulders is always a good one with the festival in the background. And yeah, just really highlighting every special part of the festival that they can reuse for the next year. But obviously with the artists, when they're done performing in Victorious, the festival is essentially done with promoting them because they might not be there next year, so the photos almost become irrelevant. Yes, you probably get your best photos when you're shooting the artist, and it's probably the most exciting part, but it's not necessarily the most important. So yeah, actually going in and around the festival, out and about, meeting people is also a critical part of the job, and it's an extremely fun part as well because you do meet some awesome people. Whilst I'm on this, when I was out and about on the Sunday, someone actually did come up to me and say that they loved my work and they really enjoy the YouTube videos and what I'm doing at the moment. So that was a really humbling experience, and the first time anyone like random has ever come up to me and said that they loved what I do. So I was like extremely thankful and was blown away when they said it. I literally couldn't thank them enough and how much it meant to me. So yeah, that was just a cool little moment that happened in the festival. So shout out to you if you're watching this now and it was you. So I appreciate you and thank you very much. I think one of the standout moments for me and one of the best feelings I had throughout the festival was just capturing the crowd shots, where it's so easy to just look up at the big shiny artist that's in front of you and shooting them with all the cool lighting going around. But if you actually turn around and see the crowd behind you in the thousands, you can get some awesome shots. And especially if you kind of play up to them and like you just kind of floating around the front with a wide angle and you're kind of telling them, you're hyping them up, say more energy, more energy. And they're just giving it to you. They're absolutely having a blast. They're obviously seeing their favourite artists at the front. They've obviously waited there all day to be there. And yeah, the energy is just unmatched. And it's something that I've never experienced in my entire life. And it's almost like an addictive feeling to just wanting to keep doing that. And I found myself towards the end, once I got my shots of the artist, that I was just turning around to the crowd because it was so fun. Like, it was so fun, like, just having to play with them and just hyping them up. And they are what make the festival at the end of the day. They're the ones that bring the energy and the noise to the artists, and they hype the artists up. So they are such an important aspect of a festival. So I think it is important to capture that and capture those moments. I don't think I could do this video as well without mentioning the amazing team that Victorious has and the official team we had. They are such all unbelievably talented people, and I learned a lot last year and this year from them. They just all want to help each other, and if anyone has any questions or any queries about the day, or like if they should do that or this, that, or the other, like someone is always there to help out. And I think it is definitely the best team that I've ever worked in professionally. And I really can't wait to just go back next year, work with them all again, because it's such an enjoyable experience, especially when it's so intense and the hours are long and you're running on not that much sleep. You're about 2 meals a day, and they help you through it. Everyone plays their part through the day, and I couldn't be more grateful to have worked with those guys and hopefully continue working with them through the years. But that was my experience of shooting a festival. Hopefully you found some value in that and can use it to benefit yourself if you do end up shooting festivals in the future. Let me know in the comments if you have already shot a festival and how you found it. It's definitely one of the best professional experiences I've ever had, and I'm so grateful that I've been able to do it 2 years now. And yeah, I can't wait to go back next year. But that is it from me, and I will see you soon.